All right, we got a reoccurring theme on Mondays. It is Halloween Monday. This maybe till Halloween. Dracula.
Bloody.
The streets are bloody. They were bloody Friday. They're bloody today. I mean, copper's getting whacked. Nickel's getting whacked. Aluminum. I just could go down the line.
Yeah, you know? I mean, just keep going.
Yeah, platinum, palladium. So this morning, I woke up and was like, I'm overly optimistic. We always say that, and I like being that way. I took a screenshot of it because I was going to say, oh, it's like Christmas because all the precious metals were green, all of them.
Yeah.
And now they're all red. So everything's red. So what's going on, Brett? Tell us your insight.
I wish I knew the answer other than, I mean, it's pretty obvious. I mean, the Feds raised the rate last week. That whacked the markets. The dollar is on an absolute tear against every other currency available.
Is that what's mainly doing it? Because I read like the euro is getting whacked. Like everything's just
the
all-time
British
lows.
pound.
Yeah,
I mean,
all that.
Because
that's
Japanese
to me
yen.
That's
I mean,
to me
you
what's
name
doing
it. I mean, and it does not help the world cause on the commodities that China is in rough shape right now, and at least rough shape compared to what they've been in the recent past. I think that more than anything, it's a currency thing. I mean, and it's, people project commodities prices off of, or they value commodities off of future projections. Like, what's the demand going to be for these commodities in a recessionary environment, right? And so if you are predicting a recession, or if you're saying we're already in one, or a big one's coming, there's no reason to load up on copper, nickel, aluminum. Like, there just isn't, right? Not knowing or not taking into consideration that maybe there's going to be like I talked to John Gross, and, the copper, the guru, and he's like, inventory's at, record lows, which that's kind of counterintuitive, the old supply-demand curve, like what drives
to me, if it's
what
at
drives
all-time
price
lows, it should
is
drive the price, right?
Yeah, but there's also so
It's
many
not doing
other
that.
extenuating circumstances when it comes to currencies, projected future demand. I mean, and the list goes on and on, right? So, aluminum, for example, like what hurts aluminum pricing right now is there's no real consumption on the European side, so that's leaving a lot of aluminum inventory that has to stay domestic now. Well, domestic mills, anybody that's out there selling aluminum, lately, they're like, yeah, we can take it for November, December delivery, or we can take it for October, but the spread's going to be super wide, right? Because basically they're just saying, we'll take it, but the price is going to be shit, and because we know we can, because if you don't sell it to me, I got 5 guys that are going to call me later today that are willing to sell me the same stuff, right? So it's that now that's where the actual supply demand comes in. That the supply of available aluminum, available ferrous, steel, available whatever, it takes a while for that inventory number to catch up. It takes a while for the demand to catch up, and I feel like that could be the tail of the tape for the rest of the year. Is if there's more supply available to the consuming markets, right? The aluminum smelters, the copper smelters, the whatever, the steel mills, there's more supply available than what they really need on the demand side,
And
then
the price is going to go
there's
down.
only one way for that thing to go, right?
So it still boils down to supply and demand.
It does.
It really does.
It does on like on basically the micro, like, the geographically driven, right? Like for us, we basically have 2 steel mills that we can sell to, right? 2 different companies. And then we have the export market that we can move.
And we're close enough to the coast that it does.
So we
play
can
a
push
factor.
into the export market, or we can sell domestically. And so that is sometimes an advantage if the export market is hot. It's sometimes an advantage if the domestic steel market. But sometimes it's a disadvantage because you could be in the Midwest and have like access to say 5 steel mills or 6 steel mills, right? But you don't have access to the export market. So it's always it's very geographically driven on the commodity side, especially on the ferrous side. Non-ferrous not as much because it travels a little bit farther, a little easier. There's bigger dollars in play on a per load basis.
Well, like a company like us, we can afford because of the price per pound, we can afford to ship it all the way to the East Coast if we need to, if the price makes sense.
The price makes sense.
We've done that before.
There's more value in it on a per load basis, right? So you can, it travels farther easier. So it's very geographically driven, and I think that right now, it's just a lot of recession talk. It's a lot of Russia and Ukraine still play from a macroeconomic. It still plays a role in people's consciousness of like, do I want to get long commodities right now or not? And anybody that's in our industry knows that there's a lot of hedge funds, a lot of futures traders out there that control much more of the market than us small, medium, and even large scrap processors do. Like the futures markets, and that's what's really driving these prices, right? We're just kind of at the behest of what shit soup we're dealt. Sometimes it's it's good, and sometimes it's good soup, and sometimes it's truly shit soup.
We're all swimming in the same shitty water. As
Exactly. Which at the end of the day, that's a good thing, right? Like glass half full. Mm-hmm. We're not facing anything that our competitors aren't facing today. I mean, nobody's going to be out there paying crazy over the market unless they just feel like they've got cash they want to deploy and be long a certain commodity. Mm-hmm. But generally speaking, like we're all in the same market. We're all trying to buy against and sell against the same pricing.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
There's no real secrets out there anymore about where material's going or what the price should be.
And what that does for the customer, the people selling the material to the scrapyard, that makes all the scrapyards, we're playing off the same rules. So you're still getting the best price out there. So one of our good cat customers that we used to always say that, because he would sell to us good markets, bad markets, because he's dealing with it too. Just adjusting your price. We'll always give the best price we can, but right now we're in some shitty water. So,
yeah.
But so the Fed, they raised it 0.75, right? And that's what they projected, though.
Yeah,
right?
they did, but they also came out and said probably expect another one, right?
Okay.
October, November. So,
but that wasn't expected. Is that what?
No, but I mean, I think it was, but once they confirmed it, it was like, all right,
hang on, okay.
The current, basically that just basically gave the dollar more strength and gave it more of a boost for the, at least the short term future, and saying, okay, like. Dollar strength isn't going away, which puts a lid on commodities pricing. And I don't care whether that's gold, silver, platinum, palladium, copper, nickel, lead, aluminum. It doesn't matter. Like, look at fuel. I did a podcast with Chad Ellerbrock at the beginning of the month.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no way, in my opinion, I think there's only one way for diesel and for oil to go, right? Up. And all it's done is went down. Mm-hmm. Since I said that, right? Yep. So there's a reason why I'm in the scrap business, not in the futures trading business. Because I'd be lost my ass more than I already have in the scrap business.
Well, we'll keep reporting what we're seeing, and, we'll see where it goes. We're going to be in winter here before we know it, and then that changes the flow at all these yards too.
Yeah. So. It's going to be an interesting fall and winter this year, and it's going to shake some things loose, I think.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Have a fantastic week.
Have a great week.